Hey everybody, this is Donna Meals. That's who I am. That's what I do. We're looking at episode 18. We're going to talk about diets, where to start, how to try and disseminate some of all the crazy. So my goal here is to teach everybody food education, which is basically figuring out what it is that you're supposed to eat and finding a place in your heart of hearts that absolutely loves what that is. So not always the easiest thing, but that's what I'm here to do. So I'm gonna start with my meme for the day, and this is kind of cool, and this kind of relates. I always try and take these memes and relate them to food, but there's some wisdom to be said here. It's you don't drown by falling into the water. You drown by staying there. And so if we want to take that and relate that to our food choices, it's all right if you jump in the water and have some of this or that, or a little dessert, or maybe splurge, go out with the girls and have some cocktails, or you do your thing and be happy. But if that's where you're the mainstay, eating fast food, etc., whatever it is, just eating stuff that you're not supposed to eat, even if it's supposedly good for everybody else on the planet, maybe you can't eat it. That's when we get into trouble. And a lot of people, they really get caught up in this, in like the denial cycle, oh, I'll start next week, or I'll do this or that. And I think what happens is people, they make it bigger than it is. And it ends up being a thing where you've got to, put something off and set that aside for when I have the time to do this, or when or when your doctor hands you a sentence and says, look here, your A1C is through the roof, you're going to start losing toes or whatever. So that is really the focus that I work with people in my coaching practice, specifically people that their doctor gave them bad news and then sent them home and said, do this, don't do that, whatever. And then they sit there and they think, oh my gosh, this is so overwhelming. What is it that I'm supposed to do? And it's kind of funny because I was looking through something to reference for a client, some handouts that I got from my old books from school when I was becoming a health coach. And one of the lessons they had in there, and this cracked me up, 100 dietary theories in 10 minutes. And, I looked at myself and I thought to myself, and they had a chart for like all these different diets that are out there, whether it's keto or no fat or low fat or carb, no carb. It's, unless you have a degree in nutrition, it's impossible to sort through all that. So I'm just going to break down basic nutrition, just from a layman's term point of view that's easy to understand. And here's what you got to think about, okay? If you listen in to all of what I'm saying, it's all common sense, okay? Here are the stats, okay? There are 6 nutrients that we need. One is water. We've got micronutrients, and that would be your vitamins and minerals. And then we have the macronutrients, which basically fall into the categories I'm always talking about, is that balance. The dog. The balance of fat, protein, and carbs, okay? You want good fats, you want good solid protein, and I mean, protein's pretty benign. It comes in all sorts of fashions, whether it be in legumes or animal fat or flesh, excuse me. There's a lot of protein in soy. Soy isn't always the best. We understand all these concepts, okay? And then we have carbs that comes in two different ways. We've got carbs that we consider dietary carbs are either sugar. The dog he's being so loud, it's messing me up here. Carbs come either simple carbs, which is regular sugar, which it'll say on a label, it'll say dietary sugar. And then it will also show you the carbs from fiber, because fiber is one of those things that we know about, that it moves stuff along. It doesn't get broken down. Okay, so it just goes through your system. That's why it's a good, I call it the scrub brush of the colon, because it takes stuff out that doesn't need to be there. So, macronutrients, fat, protein, carbs, that's what we need. And we need a good balance of that at all times. It's always good to take your vegetables and make an array of different colors of foods, because all the vegetables contain different vitamins. So the more colors, and they kind of are color coordinated. So the more color you have in your food, actually, the more variety you're going to have of your micronutrients, your vitamins and minerals, which is what you need. Our body burns either fat or carbs, okay? So it will predominantly go for, the burning of glucose, which is a simple sugar. If not, the next best thing, they'll go to the more complex carbohydrates, which will be the more in they're sugars that comes from mostly the vegetables and things like that. So, if you don't have like simple sugar, like that's why it goes through your system so rapidly, because it breaks down, because there are only a couple little molecules there, and they break down real quick, and then all of a sudden your insulin spike goes, woo, your blood sugar. So that's why it's always better if you have more fiber to go along with that, if you do have simple sugar in your diet. Because the fiber will help regulate that, because that kind of brings it back down to normal. So if you're getting your carbs pretty much mostly or all from vegetables, that's a good deal. It's the starches and, the rices and the pastas, grains, things like that really kind of tend to do the same thing, like I said, spike that blood sugar. So, but our body can burn either the sugar, or it will, if in the absence of sugar, it will burn fat. And your body does need fat. I remember back in the day where, the no fat diets, I think it was like in the 80s and 90s. I remember the vodka and salad diet, because there's no fat in it. Those things are all crazy fads. But I mean, that's just the basis of the chemical needs that you are going to have to put in your body. You need water, vitamins and minerals, and you need the macronutrients, which is a balance of fat, protein, and carbs. Okay? There was a school of thought a while back that 40% of your intake should be from protein, and 40% from carbs, and 30% from fat. There's a book somebody had out on that, and that's a pretty good thing. I mean, to try and do all the calculations and count your calories, and I mean, it's crazy. It'd be easier just to eliminate certain things than to sit there and try and figure out, what your menu should be. And I mean, yes, it mathematically it can be done, but who has that kind of time? It's common sense. Common sense. Okay. Basically what I want to get at with these different diets are some of the hangups that we get caught up with. Okay. Somebody will say to me, oh, I have this product and I don't even have to eat anymore. I had a client back in the day, and I would go to his house down in San Diego. He was very wealthy. He owned a bunch of those body shop stores, and he was British, really cool guy. But I noticed that the time frame that he would have me come and cook for him was further and further apart. So, I asked him one time, and he says, "Oh, I've been doing this product, and I'm pretty much getting to the place where I'm just not going to eat at all." I mean, he's going to take up supplements and stuff. And mind you, I am taking a crap load of supplements right now because I'm trying to replenish things that we're missing, because I went and spent probably $1,000. It was out of pocket because it was through a naturopath, so I didn't have insurance that would cover that type of, some of the tests that I was taking. I didn't care. I was losing my hair. I gained some weight from some medication. I couldn't lose it. Yeah, I was going crazy. And I said, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to take this $5,000, $6,000 and make a commitment to being healthier, happier, lasting longer, and without pain and disease and frustration, and keep my hair. It's common sense. So many of us go and we hear some kind of marketing, and we sit down and we say, "Oh, that's the right thing for me." Well, just because it worked for 10,000 other people does not mean it's going to work for you. And trust me, I am here to tell you this. Because when here I am, weight loss professional since 2009, and I got into a place, like I said, unbeknownst to me, I didn't realize my medication was going to do this to me. I could not lose the weight. Oh my gosh. I'm still struggling. I still have about 8 more pounds to go, even though the camera does add, 40 pounds. But I'm still not back to fighting weight, but I'm taking my time doing it. I'm not taking a rash, protocol where, okay, we're just going to eat cabbage for 3 days. Most of those crazy diets that people come up with, all you lose is water weight. You lose a lot of water while you're if you change around your regimen, because your body's trying to flush stuff out and trying to get back to normal. It works in like this symbiosis, this balance. Same thing I noticed before is right now, I weighed the same that I did probably 5 days ago, but because your body wants to hang on to the same, it has a comfort zone with a certain number of weight. That's how people get into those plateau things where, they're doing a diet and then I hate to say diet, they're doing a program, and they end up, they pretty much end up where they're not making any progress. They hit that plateau and they're staying the same weight. It's because their body has a comfort zone at that same weight. And that's where I'm at right now. This is a weight that I was after having children for, years and years, So I'm like trying to blow past that and get back to where I was, when I was in my 30s. So I have about 8 more pounds to go. And I used to do this with my clients because they'd come in and they'd be so frustrated. "Oh my gosh, I'm so upset. I'm ready to throw the scale through the window. I've been the same weight for the last week and a half, blah, 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 blah." And then I said, "Okay, well, do you remember what pants you had on last week when you came to see me?" And they'd say yes, whatever. They'd figure it out. I said, "I want you to go back and put those same pants on." I did that today because I was like, I cannot believe that this stupid scale says the same thing. I was pissed. And then I'm leaving on a little trip tomorrow, so I got out some stuff that I haven't worn because it's summer. It's Hawaii. It's gonna be a little warmer. So I pulled out some pants and I thought, I haven't had these on in a while, and they were my fat pants from this whole whatever that when I gained a few pounds, and I was happy to say that they were too big, and they would have been too big last week. Or they wouldn't have fit the same last week. But even though I would quiz my clients and they'd call me up and say, "I went home and tried those same pants on, and guess what? They fit so much better." So the scale is not everything. Because, I mean, I know myself, I can flux 5 pounds in one day, and it's all about water weight. We all can. So, you know, the only time your scale's really going to tell you anything that means anything is when it's consistently lower, or when you're at the place where you need to be and you're staying there. But you can't really look at it and use that as your marker of how your progress is, because if you're doing that, you may set yourself up to fail. So anyway, I talk about a lot about weight loss, but because it is the key problem that people have, it's the first problem that they have medically before the other ones ensue. And I'd say the 5 out of the top 8 major health issues that people suffer from is they have obesity alongside of it. It's just what it is. It's just what it is. And so I can't stress enough that if you fix your food, you will fix yourself. And it's not about going out and saying, okay, I'm going to start Monday. It's taking the little baby steps. It's educating yourself. It's listening into what I have to say, because I'm trying to educate you. I'm food-educating you. You know, the critical things: drink water, get rid of bad fats, get rid of bad carbs, get rid of sugar. Get rid of all of your chemicals. Like I just did the thing on Monday about all of the chemicals that are in all of our food. I'm going to reiterate. Your body will take all the food you put in it and set it aside and work on sugar and chemicals because they're poison. And if it doesn't have enough energy, once it gets done processing all the poisons, same thing with alcohol in your system, your body says, danger, danger, we got to get rid of all this stuff that we don't know what it is. Alcohol, sugar, well, alcohol is sugar, and also, you know, any of the preservatives and additives and all the millions and quadrillions of things that are in our system. Also in our face cream and our shampoo and our laundry soap. You know, that's why going all natural, even your cleaning products in your home. I get rid of my asthma by changing my cleaning products. I used to make them myself with, you know, essential oils, lemon juice, vinegar. My own bottle. I made my own back in the day. Now you can walk in the grocery store and find them. Even in every grocery store, you can find natural cleaning products. But they don't have all the bleach and all the stuff that irritates your sinuses and your lungs, your respiratory. It helps with kids with ADHD. I mean, get rid of the chemicals in your life. So anyway, I just wanted to try and just bring a little bit of awareness to just some of the madness out there. You don't need a diet. You just need to eat, you know, well. And I'm going to, some of you may have missed last week, you know, I have like a little tiny workbook. It's just like a little starter kit of a couple of handouts, okay? With just basic information. Just, you know, read through it. I will put it in the in the comments below. I just wanted to just take a few minutes and say that, okay? So I'm gonna move on to a food hack. And this is way cool. And I was doing this, as many of you know, I'm heading to Hawaii to go teach my son how to cook. Called me up. He called me up with some friends. Mom, I'm such a dumbass. I didn't learn how to cook when you tried to teach me before I left for the Marine Corps. And no, he didn't. He was having too much fun with his friends, and I get it. But now he's ready. So that's awesome. So Mama Bear to the rescue. I'm flying out there, and we're going to have some fun, and I'm going to post some of those. But I have gathered up, because what I do is, this is just like in a pinch. I bought this the other day, but you know, I ran out of garlic. Whoops, here we go. My little garlic, okay? So this isn't organic. I usually do get organic, but it's been harder with all the virus crap because they don't let you get stuff out of the bulk bins. And if your store is really good, they will have a bulk seasoning and herbs and section too. And so that's what I do. And they have the little baggies. You got to put, scoop some in there, and then you write the little number on there, and then they charge you. This bottle of garlic, this one's organic, Full Circle. I think that's, I don't know, Smith's or something like that. Anyway, this is probably $5, $4 or $5, okay? You can get the big one in Costco. You'll have it for a year. I won't. I go through my spices. Like, I've got vats of spices. So what I did was I had a whole bunch of empty jars, and I just would take my Sharpie out and I wrote it. And I went through, like I did this, and I go like, okay, I'm going to fill up my little, there we go. There we go. Okay. So this was like $1.39, and there's probably enough in there. I've filled this up twice. Okay. So you see what I'm saying about, because these things, you go buy a thing of tarragon, that's going to be like $6, $7. It's insane. So keep this, get the little bags of stuff, go buy it in the bulk section, get your funnel and fill your own. There you go. There's my food hack. So my brain hack is something that I heard today that, I practice this myself. And I told you guys before, I do some meditation. And really all meditation is, it can be so many weird connotations or whatever. I used to think it was woo-woo. But really what meditation is quieting your mind. And you're letting energy in and you're letting energy out. The energy that you're letting in, if you really, really quiet your mind and you really empty all of your thoughts out, okay, then you're allowing energy from the universe to make its way into yourself. A lot of people gain inspiration. Nikola Tesla talked about it. Einstein, okay? We all know about his scientific achievement. Well, both of them, they're amazing scientists, but they both had a meditation practice. I mean, if you sat down and you thought about like the 3-year-old that sits down and can play a concerto or whatever on a piano and they've never had a lesson, how do you think that happens? Somehow, they were given divine energy. It's out there. Everything in life is comprised of energy. Even us. Einstein also, and the CIA, actually, I read a paper that was some kind of disclosure from the CIA. It was very interesting. And it had to do with the fact that matter has been found to be just nothing more than spinning energy. So there's more to it scientifically. Woo-woo has all been kind of scientifically explained, and that's out there. So anyway, so like I said, you can either pull energy in from the universe, or you can do meditation where you're more of like in a prayer state, where you're sending information out. You're sending what your wishes are. And it was a really cool story. I listened to this gentleman named Greg Braden, who was a scientist. He was a geologist, worked for all the big major tech companies, and oil companies, and super smart. And now he makes a practice because he studied on his own time ancient religions, things like that. Very interesting guy. Anyway, his story was about how he went to lunch with this Native American man, and there was rain that was needed. And the guy said, we need to make a pit stop. I'm going to stop, at this one, I forget what they call them, but it's like a mesa, at the edge there. And he said he just sat there, and the guy, I'm not sure which Indian tribe he was from, or Native American tribe. I'm not really sure which one. I think it may have been Iroquois. I can't remember. He's from Santa Fe, New Mexico. Anyway, the guy sat there and he went through and he did his prayer. He said he had to go say a prayer for rain. And Greg Braden said, oh my goodness, well, because after 5 minutes, the guy says, okay, ready to go to lunch? And he says, whoa, wait a minute. I thought you were going to do a rain dance or, not to stereotype or anything, but I thought there was going to be something more happening, that you're going to have movement or something. He says, no, I just simply said a prayer. And he said, but there's one thing that is different about what most people think, prayer should be. He says, the feeling is the prayer. So it's the act of not only asking for what you want, but also accompanying the feeling of what that would feel like. That's why I'm not a billionaire, because I don't have a frame of reference. On my way to millionaire, though, I do understand how that works, and what kind of comfort zone people could be in that realm. So I do have I've got my little money prayers out there, and I'm making headway on this. Things are moving in a really good direction. So yay for me. But it's because I've put that energy out there. And we can do this with our physical as well. We can start to heal ourselves and have our subconscious start working towards our goals and working for us instead of against us. So, if you wanted to just sit down and say, I want to envision what I want to look like. And I used to just with my coach, my weight loss coach patients before, I would say, all right, what size do you want to be? Remember when you wore that? Find a pair of pants or, something that was in that size. Remember something that you looked really good in, and write down for yourself. So do this for yourself. And this could be your little thing when you wake up in the morning and say, I'm going to sit down and I'm just going to be grateful for what I have. And I'm going to run through my mind and send that energy out there of what I want to look like again, how I want to feel again. And maybe anchor that with something that you wore, or a feeling that you had if you're having issues with your heart and you can't get around as much, feel the feeling that you used to have when you were a little more active. And you can get back to that. You can really talk your mind and your brain, your subconscious, to start gravitating towards things, thoughts, activities that are going to get you moving in the momentum backwards from where you came, instead of continuing on the momentum of where you were. Because momentum is everything. And I'm going to pull that back in and say, if you could sit down for, 10 minutes, run through everything that you're grateful for, close your eyes, in a nice space with nice calm music, and think about things that the feeling of where you want to get to again. Because most of us, we're having issues with our body, we weren't always this way. So you can always go back and think about that. So, and say your own little prayer, but make that prayer be accompanied by the feelings of gratitude, and say, thank you. Thanks for sending me on that direction again. Thank you, God. For me, I've got this dress that I want to get back into. I mean, I can wear it. It just doesn't look like it does when I'm at fighting weight. So that's what I look at. I hang the dress up. If I'm having a rough day, I get the dress out. Put it in front of, hang it on a hook there, and I'm looking at it, and I think to myself, or get a picture of the dress and throw it on your fridge. Any of those little, or in your mirror, these tiny little signals to yourself, that repetition, it changes that lizard brain, changes that critter brain. It makes you start going towards what is the right thing for you, because you know it. So anyway, next time I see you, hopefully I'll be in Hawaii. I haven't got my damn COVID test back, and I'm running out of time. They give you 3 days to get it taken care of and get the results back. So Still flying in the air. Let's see. Who knows? So say a prayer and see me on the plane. Love you all. Have a good one, everybody.